Thank you for joining us on our inaugural episode of Small Town Murder. This week we head to Sarah, Mississippi, an unincorporated municipality in northwestern Mississippi that was the scene of a brutal quadruple murder in 2001. Welcome to Small Town Murder. And welcome to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. I'm here. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on our inaugural voyage.
This is fun.
Our inaugural
this is
voyage
very cool.
into a complete mess of human disaster.
I fucking hope so.
We have some twisted mess of human disaster for you guys today. A story today coming from Mississippi, coming from the deep south of the United States. Let's get right into it. What do you say?
I love it.
It comes from Tate County, Mississippi.
Okay.
It's a town called Sarah, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, it's an unincorporated municipality, which is defined as a region of land that isn't governed by its own municipal corporation, but rather administered as part of larger administrative divisions. So basically what that means is nobody cares about this place,
Right.
and some larger faraway county seat is supposed to care, but they don't really care.
Don't give a shit.
They don't even have their own government.
Funding.
They haven't even formed their own government, these
Right.
people. So, yes, it's the Tate County, Mississippi, was formed in 1873. The county. It's in the far northwest portion of Mississippi. This is a humid, swampy.
Yeah.
It's weird, too, because it's hot and sticky, yet in the winter it's still cold as shit and snows all the time. It's a terrible place to be, basically,
The
based
worst
on
of both
geography.
worlds.
The worst of both worlds. It's terrible. It's also a dry county.
Oh, no.
So overseas, if you don't know what that is, a dry county
you
means
can't even get fucked up to forget about it.
you can't buy alcohol there. So that's what that is. And through the South, there's a lot of dry counties.
Yeah.
There's places where the religious folk still have that type of a reign on everything. And there's no local government to overturn it anyway. So what are you going to do? Sarah is a very small town. It does have a post office, though.
Oh.
It's zip code 38665.
Okay.
Elevation 187 feet. So it's pretty close to sea level.
Yeah.
It's flat down there. The post office is on Sarah Road in Sarah, so it tells you what a large town this is.
And how they've really expanded their horizons on
huge.
naming shit.
Absolutely. Sarah
I guarantee
Road,
you it's named after the founder's daughter. You know it is.
There's like Sarah Road and Highway 3. Those are the roads, and numbered highways. There's
one stoplight, if they've got that, and it's powered by a generator because they got no power.
That's it, man. That's it. Just somebody has to come pour gasoline in it every once in a while. It's not even
crank it.
I was gonna say it's kerosene, probably. Somebody comes out with some kerosene, pours it in.
I don't even know where to buy kerosene. That's hysterical.
No, they have it down there, though, I have a feeling.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have it.
Oh, yeah.
To give you an idea where this place is, it's 183 miles from Jackson, Mississippi, which is kind of in the center of the state, about 2 hours, 45 minutes. It is very close to Memphis, Tennessee.
All right.
You just take the 3 north, about 57 miles, and you hit Memphis. So it's less than an hour away from Memphis.
Why the fuck are you there then?
So, yeah, people are going to they all go to Memphis to party.
Oh,
That's
I'm sure.
Yeah. Population of Sarah is 2,775, which is not a lot. Population density show you how spread out it is.
2,000 people with no car, apparently,
No,
because it's
none.
only an hour drive north.
Yeah, just walk
Get the
it.
fuck out.
Walk it.
Yeah.
So, get out of there.
Yeah.
It's not dry up there.
Throw your shit on your back and leave.
You can get booze. The population density is 43 people per square mile. The average United States population density is 91. So it's like half as...
You have twice the livable space.
Twice as rural as the rest of as the national average. A little couple of stats here that I find interesting. 3% more. There's 3% more 0 to 4-year-olds than the national average in here. So there's more kids than more.
Fucking like crazy.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do.
But not many old people, I hear. There's a lot of old people like 60s and 50s.
Yeah.
In the population breakdown, it lists as over age 85, 0.00%.
Wow.
So let's say the health care there is probably not great. Let's just say that. 1.85% is the national average. So you're supposed to have about 2% of the elderly, and they don't have any. So they killed them all off. It's
Or
ridiculous.
they just ship them all out.
As far as racial breakdown goes, because when we're dealing with the South, that is ever important. And we apologize if you're from the South and you're offended by any of this. Tough shit. You have a history. You're going to have to live up to it now. Sorry.
great.
We're going to talk about everything
Are
that
they
happens.
like the Eskimos where they just like put them on a piece of land and just shove them off?
I think so. With the elderly,
Yeah,
I think they are.
Get rid of them.
They drive down to the Gulf.
You're going to die soon.
They take them up to Memphis and they push them off that pyramid they built up there. That's what they do. They shove them right off. It says the racial breakdown is 89.59% white and 10.41% black.
Okay.
Now, you may notice something about those two numbers.
They don't add to 100.
They add exactly to 100.
Oh, wait, say that again.
89.59
89.
and 10.41.
There is nobody else there.
0% anything else. Literally. It says on the thing, quote, 100% non-Hispanic. So it's just you can't get a burrito within 30 miles. You can't get booze or a burrito anywhere in that county. It's horrible.
It's a burrito, but it's made by some guy named Hank.
Yes. National average, just to show you how it contrasts here, is 62% white, 12% black, 17% Hispanic is the national average. So they are way askew on that.
Way the fuck off.
Way off. But the only claim to fame they have is that James Earl Jones was born in Arca Butler in Tate County.
Okay.
So they have James Earl Jones. Darth
somewhere
Vader's
else.
there. Yeah. It's in that county in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Some other unincorporated shithole with no booze. Very religious around there, as the United States, the southern portion of the United States is very religious in general, if you're from overseas. Here we have about 60% of the people classifying themselves as religious, as opposed to about a 49% national average. So it's, and the religions down there,
They're a little strict.
It is about 34% Baptist.
Yeah, and Southern Baptist is a motherfucker.
These people do not fuck around.
No.
This is some fire and brimstone, very, very, very authoritarian, preach at you.
They don't curse much, and if they're listening to this podcast, they've already turned it off.
They've already turned it off, so we cannot offend the Baptists. Right. And if you are a Baptist and you're listening to this, what the fuck are you doing? You're the hypocrite.
You aren't a Baptist.
Don't tell me, because you don't believe in that shit either. You wouldn't be listening to this. Also, 16.7% Methodist. These are well above the national average for these two religions. 0.0% Jewish.
Surprising.
Jews do not like northwestern Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Also, 0.0% Muslim. So that tells you right there what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We are. It gives
very
you an idea.
Close-minded people.
Absolutely. There's some tornadoes hit around there, including an F4 that hit December 23rd, 2015, a few miles away in Tyro.
I remember that one.
It destroyed a trailer and the kerosene generator that operates the light, and then that was it because there's nobody else there. So nobody cared. They barely noticed. We'll put it that way. Was there a trailer there yesterday?
It was windy last night.
Was there a trailer there? I don't know. Never mind. Whatever. Sorry if we're offending with the southern accents, but I'm going to keep it to a minimum with this because everything will be said in that otherwise as we get into the crime part of this, the murder part of this. The cost of living there, not very expensive.
I would guess free.
Yeah. The general cost of living is 10% less than the national average, but the housing is about 40% less than the national average.
Wow.
You can get it. Let's do a new segment here on Small Town Murder. New segment number 1, the Sarah, Mississippi Housing Report. In case you're looking for a home, you're perusing for a new place to live, and you're like, where am I going to move? I know, Sarah, Mississippi. I don't want to drink. Well, and I'm feeling Baptist, and I don't want any booze, so you can move there. You can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, 1,506 square feet. It's a good-sized house, $120,000.
Wow.
Sarah, that is cheap. I don't know where you live in the rest of the country, the rest of the world, but in Phoenix, that would be a cheap home. Yeah. I know where we live. You can get, this house is beautiful, too. I saw the picture of it here. A 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,500 square foot house.
Wow.
It's brick. It's beautiful. The landscaping, picturesque.
4-bed, 5-bath?
Yeah,
that's bizarre.
That's what rich people do.
Yeah.
That's true. Whenever you see like really crazy houses, you're like, that's beautiful. It's always like 5-bedroom, 8-bathroom because every bedroom has a bathroom, and then they have
there's
halls
extra ones around. Yeah,
so that's what they do. It's $350,000 for this house.
Wow,
that would be
that's a mansion.
Yeah, that'd be $1 million.
That's
here.
Crazy.
Or you can get a little house if you're 2-bedroom, 2-bath. 1,250 square foot house for only $63,000.
Holy shit.
And it is down the scariest driveway I've ever seen in my life. It looks like, have you ever seen Evil Dead? Yeah. Where it's the path to the cabin through the woods. That's what it looks like. It's a dirt road completely covered in trees leading to just darkness. It looks
Their pickup truck
terrifying.
Is the same price as their house.
That's the thing, absolutely. Or you can get a 41.5-acre lot for $117,000.
Why would you buy a house?
It's so big.
Just buy
so
that
much.
and build it.
Or, well, I was going to say, if you want to get a tent and get 3/4 of an acre, you can get that for $12,500.
Jeez Louise, that's cheap.
This is
You can't buy a car for that anymore.
No, that's what I mean. You can't do anything
crazy.
for that. Education in this whole thing here, they spend a little bit more than half the money per student as the national average.
A little less than half?
A little less than half per
Wow.
student. Not great. 79%.
They don't want them getting smart and moving out. They need the tax money.
They need something. Well, shit, they're not going to be working. Well, he's going to fill the kerosene tank, and then we're going to put back into the coffers.
The other one, his best friend's going to change the bulbs on the traffic light when they go out.
So 79% only are high school, there's the high school graduation rate there. It's about 87% is the national average. So not great. 4-year, this is insane here. Okay. The 4-year college graduates, 4.71 there. National average is 29.2.
4% go 4 years in college.
National average is 29%. So
well,
that
they don't
shows
like
you
being talked down to down there. So
they don't like. And this isn't just the general South, because there's cool places in the South. Like there's a lot of cool places in the South, even smaller places that are cool in the South. But this is not one of them. This is a place that you would not want to be.
Low down shithole.
Yeah,
it's an epitome of it.
This is a place where a singer moved out of and then tells stories about how their dad beat them when he was an alcoholic and they were young and stuff like that. 1.26% have a master's degree. So it's interesting. Now, they do have one decent high school here. It's called Strayhorn High School.
Real quickly.
Yeah.
The population was a little over 2,000.
Yes.
1% of that is 20 people?
That's what I mean.
That's
it's
crazy.
Like 20 people.
20 people in that whole town have a master's.
They meet once a month for lunch, but not a drink.
No,
because they can't have
no
one.
drinking.
Their Strayhorn High School on 86 Mustang Drive in Sarah here earned a bronze medal rating, actually, in the national school ratings here. There is 20 full-time teachers there, so it's a small school. They have a 22-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, which is pretty small. They have 68% of the students are economically disadvantaged that go to the school, so that tells you a lot.
It's a lot of free lunches.
Yeah, it's a lot. 82% white in this school. It's a very white school. The rest is black and 0.5% Asian.
What?
There's one kid.
Where's that guy at?
He's just one kid sitting there, and he's like,
lost.
I feel super No, his family owns the restaurant in town. He's like, my family owns Cheng Wang's down there that everybody goes to every Friday.
My dad owns the buffet.
He's like, fuck me. They all just make fun
How
of me.
did we wind up here?
Now, this school has an 84% graduation rate, so it's better than the average of this county here. 10% higher proficiency there also, but there's racial issues, as there always is in Mississippi. Apparently, they have kind of started to resegregate schools now.
What?
Whereas they struck down Civil Rights Act. Portions of the Civil Rights Act in the Supreme Court over here in the United States, and that included certain education provisions where you don't have to provide equal things for equal whatever. So
that's bullshit.
What they end up doing is reverting back to what they're doing, whereas the black kids in the poor schools, they let them go to shit, and then the white kids in the nice schools,
that's where they get the nice stuff.
That's where they get the nice stuff, basically. So it's one of these. A parent from there said, quote, "That movie, Mississippi Burning, we joke around about how Mississippi's still burning and the match was lit in Tate County." Because that's where we're coming from here.
About 2 minutes ago, I almost referenced Mississippi Burning, and that's so
hard
hysterical.
Not to. They had separate proms there. There's documentaries about separate proms down south.
Proms.
It's happening. Yeah, they have the whites got their own prom at the elementary school that the black kids weren't involved with.
Yeah.
They had separate black homecoming queen, white homecoming queen.
Wow.
Like everything in the school that they have a black version and a white version, which I feel like is exactly the opposite of what we're going for here. The black schools are performing way worse. They have less teachers, worse facilities, not great at all.
I hope the white school for their for their Christmas concert do like the Wizard of Oz, and then the black school does the Wiz. That would be amazing.
That'd be amazing. I bet the black version would be way better too. Even though they have a way shittier story because the Wiz is terrible, they'd be better performers. I feel like than a bunch of white kids. They had some problems on Martin Luther King Day, January in 2015.
Of course they did.
A bunch of flyers went into driveways all around Tate County, and they had the KKK logo on it, and they were calling Martin Luther King a communist pervert. It said, quote, on Martin Luther King Day, you are celebrating a communist pervert. So I'm like, all right, it's a friendly town down there. Sounds super friendly.
Holy shit.
It's insane. Violent crime down there. Violent crime is higher than the national average by a good chunk.
What, real quick, why does the KKK, I want to research that. Why do they call him a communist pervert? What are their facts that support that shit?
Well, there's a certain portion of people on the right wing, and I'm just going to, and I won't even say regular, probably not anybody listening. Probably extremist nutbags that basically
Jeff Sessions.
They think public schools are communist. Everything's communist.
Really?
Paved roads are communist.
Because we make them with your tax money?
We collectively put into it. It's like, I want to pay for my own road. Go for it.
Fucking drive on dirt, dickhead.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then come back to the paved road and talk about how nice it is.
That might be taking it to the extreme a bit with your, I get in America we have a real, stick to it and we're going to make it on my own type of thing, but that's a little extreme, I think.
That's crazy.
Communist pervert, but whatever. I don't know his perversions. Yeah. He might have been a pervert. I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't a communist.
I'll call him a fucking hero. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. That too. There's a lot of people that are perverts. That's not an insult to Martin Luther King. Whatever he does behind closed doors was his fucking business. I don't really care, to be honest with you.
That's hysterical.
I can't argue that point, is what I'm getting at. Another breakdown here is they are 51.75% of the people are married in Sarah County. It's weird. 6.12% are married but separated, which is like 3 times the national average.
Really?
There's people just too lazy to get a fucking divorce down there, or they can't afford it.
Yeah, that's probably
That's the other thing here. And like I said, violent crime is higher down there than the national average by far. Yeah, because it's poor. I think that's it here. And how they deal with violent crime is different than a lot of other places in the world, and even places in the U.S. We'll get into the executions and how they work it down there in Mississippi. Mississippi joined the Union in 1817.
Against their fucking...
Yeah, they got out again in the 1860s and then rejoined again. Right. So they've been in and out a couple of times here. Since their inception, they've been executing people immediately because it's the South and that's what they do. They used to do it by hanging, obviously.
Sure.
They hung people until 1940 when they started using the electric chair.
1940, they were still hanging people.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, shit, they're probably still hanging people now, just not in an official capacity, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
1940, they started using the electric chair. Between 1940 and 1952, 75 prisoners died in the electric chair. So they got it cranking. Yeah. The guy with the kerosene was out there every 5 minutes pouring it in. Like, come on, let's go. It was an old oak electric chair. It was crazy.
Run by a generator, no doubt.
That's what I mean. The kerosene man. He's a busy man.
He has a lot of shit to do.
All the tax money collected in that county is from him. 1954, the gas chamber was involved. It was introduced.
1954?
Installed, yes, 1954. It was used until 1989, the gas chamber. They only executed 35 people in the gas chamber.
No, they slowed it down. They're like, this takes a little longer.
Well, there was a big backlash against...
They couldn't afford the gas.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, too. They were like, we can't.
That shit's
They shut it off.
Yeah.
They missed a couple of bills.
Yeah.
They shut it off. They now switched to
lethal. They could have just run it on the generator's fumes.
Yeah, definitely.
Just pipe that shit in there.
Just go. It's fine. Yeah, get the traffic light, hook it up, and we can just kill a guy with that.
Get the hose going.
That's surprised they didn't just back up their El Camino. Somebody just put a hose into the road.
There's a ton of El Caminos in this town.
Somebody brought it up. They're like, my pickup is just the exhaust is terrible in it. I can just back it on up. We can put a hose.
I got a diesel. It shoots black shit all over the place.
That's how my wife killed herself, and it seemed to work fine. So... 52 inmates currently on death row in Mississippi.
Wow.
They're waiting for the lethal injection, which is now their current method of execution. There's 50 males and 2 females on it. 22 whites, 29 blacks, and that one Asian. They have one Asian and everything. I swear to God.
Are you serious? There's one Asian. Hilarious.
It's 22 whites, 29 blacks, one Asian. Yeah. I swear to God, there's a quota there where we don't care about whites and blacks, and we don't want any Mexicans, obviously. 100% non-Hispanic. But we need one Asian everywhere, in the schools, in the jails, prison, in the prisons.
On death row, fucking everywhere.
So let's introduce ourselves here to a man who ends up dealing with this system later on, our
poor
perpetrator
unfortunate
this
soul.
week. He's not a poor, unfortunate soul. He's an asshole. Let's talk about him. He had a terrible upbringing, but that does no excuse for what he did, and we'll talk about it here. It's Jan Michael Brewer is his name, Jr. Now, I have to tell you, folks, why Jimmy is laughing. We do another podcast called Crime and Sports. Please tune into Crime and Sports, by the way. You do not have to like sports. It doesn't matter at all about sports. It's about the crime, and it just happens to be the people, we're athletes that we cover.
Right.
That's it. So please tune into that. But we have found, we've done 50 episodes of that show, and we have, I think, 15 out of 50 of our criminals are juniors.
It's crazy.
At first, it was funny the first couple times, and then after a while, by the time we got to like episode 40, we were like, okay, this is an actual thing.
It's an epidemic. It's a problem.
This is real.
Yeah.
Like, if you name your kid Junior, you are asking for trouble. And it continues here, and this guy's not even an athlete at all. Jan Michael Browner is born June 10th, 1970. Brawner. Like brawny with...
ER.
Brawner. Born June 10th, 1977. Grows up in South Haven in Tate County. His divorced parents, had a stepfather.
Yeah.
Horrible upbringing, too.
Of course.
His father's a terrible person, and I'll get into that in a second here. He had a learning disability growing up. Family frequently moved due to financial problems brought on by his parents and their drug and alcohol abuse and everything else. Father beat him and his sister terribly. He would receive beatings from his father to ensure his silence about his father repeatedly raping his sister.
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
That's a good, this is how this whole
I didn't
family
even tell
is
yet, and you're already beating me?
I'm telling you, man. This is where I wish that F4 tornado would have came a little earlier and just wiped this crew right off the earth because it's a mess here. By 1991, the father's abuse worsens. He's 14 at this point. His school grades go in the toilet. He drops out of school in the 9th grade, which is terrific. He's
That's
part of their low graduation rate. Is what I mean. He fits into everything we just talked about. That's what this is.
Quintessential Sarah, Mississippi resident.
This is what it produces, basically, if you have a system that's not operating well for everybody here. He drops out of school in the 9th grade. He fails in his one attempt to get a GED and then just says, fuck it, I don't need a GED.
And by the way, the South, let this be a lesson to you. Your dry counties don't do fuck because this guy found alcohol and beat the shit out of his family either way.
Well, and the son here, Jan, at age 14, because there's less alcohol around than normal, what he starts doing is huffing gasoline.
That'll do it.
This is what Native Americans do on reservations. It's a problem there. Wherever there's no alcohol, people are going to get wasted in some way, shape, or form.
One way or another. Yeah.
So whether it's drinking hairspray, like they've heard on reservations, they do a lot, or huffing gas.
Paint.
Like if you go to site, I know like in small towns in Canada, it's an epidemic. Paint
gas
huffing.
Is still
gas and paint huffing. Wow. It's an epidemic up there because that's what they get. They're bored. You know what I mean? So anyway, he has such a bad huffing problem here that he's admitted to the Parkwood Hospital for huffing gasoline, and he's diagnosed with polysubstance abuse, which didn't really need a diagnosis. If you have to be hospitalized because you huff so much gasoline, you're abusing that. Let's just say that right now. In December 3rd, 1991, his father, Jan Sr., is convicted of sexual battery of his sister. So that's interesting there. So now he's got a stigma.
Junior took all these beatings for nothing because he got caught anyway.
Got caught anywhere. Father served 7.5 years in state prison over this. So he's gone from the time he's 14, which is good for everybody. Get that asshole out of there. Jan works mainly in a warehouse as a warehouse forklift operator through this whole time.
That's a pretty good gig.
It's okay for Sarah. I mean, I actually looked at job listings there to see what it's literally there was like every job was like $8.25 an hour. It's not great down there for that. So he meets Barbara Kraft, and she's born October 3rd, 1977. They're the same age. He meets her around this time in the mid-'90s, and they get together. They become a couple. By late 1997, Barbara is pregnant.
Oh boy,
with his child, which perfect. That's the clan you want to hook yourself into here. In December 1997, the two get married. Jan marries Barbara Kraft because March 1998, about 3 months later, their daughter Paige is born. So we understand the cause of that wedding.
That definitely hastened it if it wasn't the cause.
Why are two 20-year-olds getting married? Okay, I get
it's
it.
It's that 6-month belly right there. That makes sense.
Now I understand. Wow. Through the next couple of years, the couple live with Barbara's parents, Carl and Jane, on and off in Sarah, Mississippi. That's where their parents are from. They on and off. Sometimes they're on their own, sometimes they're with them. he's not a good, I would say a good provider, but he's not a good anything.
Yeah.
He's just bad for the family.
He's a 20-year-old. He doesn't know fuck.
No, and he's in 1998, he's convicted of several counts of burglary and grand larceny.
21 years old, he's already breaking into places.
Yeah, he's got a wife and a young daughter, and this is what he's doing. He's given probation and must report to a guy named Kenneth Fox, who's his PO, and he'll come up later on. We'll talk about him a little bit more. 1999, they split up. Okay. A shocker.
22-year-old with a 2-year-old, and
don't see that one coming from a mile
away. And
he's
he's a burglar, and he's on parole or probation.
Yeah,
he's stay with him. That's not going to stay together long.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's still huffing gasoline on the side too. In the year 2000, Jan meets June Filyaw. That's his future girlfriend. Through a local...
It's a very southern name, June.
June Filyaw. Yeah, it does. Filyaw?
Is her middle name Beauregard?
It probably should be. Beauregard. I like that. I like that a lot. Or Devereaux or something like Blanche.
Some almost French bullshit that makes him sound fucking hoity-toity.
Louisiana's pretty close by. Why not?
You sound very hoity-toity in that fucking Little House on the Prairie dress. What are you doing?
Jesus.
Fancy.
These two meet through a local radio station's Dateline. Oh. So this is the time we're dealing 2000. There's no Tinder. Yeah. There's no way to meet anybody. Like you literally call a radio station where someone else called a radio station. You're like, is there a girl there? Yeah, okay. Hi.
Is there a girl
That's literally what it is. Are you a girl? Okay. And then you talk to them. It's the weirdest thing. So I'd never heard of anyone actually meeting on this sort of thing. So this is interesting. They soon move into an apartment together because they're white trash. They have to move in immediately. It's in South Haven, which is where he is kind of born and bred. Right. Barbara and Paige, his wife and his ex-wife now, and his daughter are staying with Carl and June, her parents, and Sarah at this point. She's going to stay with them. Whatever. It's a support system for the child and everything else. The year 2000, Jan is in several car accidents. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I don't know why he can't keep the car on the road, but he's
trying to huff the gas from the gas tank at the same time he's driving.
He's got a hose too. It's a lot of hoses in this town. He later says that these caused brain damage. These car accidents.
No, the huffing the gas caused the brain damage, you dipshit.
Or the years of huffing, possibly. I'm not disputing he has brain damage. I'm sure he does, but the cause is definitely up for debate.
You didn't graduate high school. You dropped out in 9th grade, man. Let everybody else determine where the brain damage came from.
You can drive a forklift high on gasoline, apparently. So, March of 2001, they officially divorced, Jan and Barbara. Barbara is awarded full custody of Paige.
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God, although it facilitates something worse.
Of course.
Barbara moves in with her parents, Carl and Jane Kraft, and Sarah. She's full-time now. She's going to live with them. Tells Jan that she doesn't want him around Paige. Gets a restraining order against him.
Uh-oh.
So she's telling him she does not want him around the daughter.
You just told a man with brain damage that he can't see his daughter.
Yeah, and legally filed paperwork as such. So he's not going to be happy about this. But I'm glad she did this. You got to protect yourself.
It's the best thing to do. But
who wants this guy around the kid at this point? March of 2001, he's still living with June Filyaw. They're having financial difficulties at the problem. Bronner later says...
What year was this?
This is 2001, March of 2001.
And gas is about to go through the roof,
too. Yeah, it's about to get worse for him. Wait till you hear what he's driving, too. You're going to go, wow, he's going to have to trade that in for a Pinto. Or a 4-cylinder El Camino, or whatever they're driving down there.
Some sort of Suzuki Swift,
something,
or Geo Metro.
There you go. A nice, like a Suzuki Samurai. One of those. Look like a toy. They tip over all the time. So Browner later says that the pressure was building on him because, quote, nothing was going right. Nothing's going right. Well, maybe, when you're a 9th grade dropout with a huffing problem and brain damage, do you expect things to go your way?
You're 23 and your best experience in life is being a forklift operator.
Do you expect to be a master of the stock market? Or, what are you expecting out of the world at this point from this guy?
It is not your oyster, I'll tell you that now.
Definitely the world is far from your oyster. I'm telling you. So April 24th, 2001, Jan leaves his apartment in South Haven at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's either a go-getter or a crackhead. One of the two. I'm either really impressed or really worried. One of the two out of that. He's driving a U-Haul truck for some reason. Why is he driving a U-Haul truck around?
Did he rent this or did he steal it?
Most people rent the U-Haul truck and they drop their shit off and they bring the U-Haul truck back.
Get the fuck out of that thing. It is not impressive.
He hasn't moved.
That's not a truck to go cruising for chicks in.
He's like, you can't go over 50 in the thing.
Without the whole truck shaking.
No, he hasn't moved recently, so I have no idea why he's doing this. He's heading to the Kraft home to see his wife and his parents and ex-in-laws and his daughter at 3 o'clock in the morning in Sarah. It's about an hour away. Okay. So he says that he thought he might be able to borrow some money from Barbara's father, Carl.
To pay for this U-Haul.
Look, I got a U-Haul bill mounting. I've had this thing for days. I can't get rid of it.
It keeps going up every day.
And later, he admits that he was going to rob them. He wasn't going to borrow anything. He arrives at the Kraft home at 4444 Highway 3 in Sarah. That's their address.
They have a highway address.
They have a highway address.
Terrible.
At about 4 o'clock in the morning, he pulls up in his U-Haul truck. Parks the U-Haul a safe distance from the house, doesn't want to alert anybody.
Wake anybody up at 4 a.m.
And he approaches the house. He sits on the steps, the front steps of the house from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m.
What?
Once again, go-getter or really cracky behavior to sit on the steps.
You got 3 hours to figure out what you're really going to do.
And this is 2001. He couldn't, play on his phone.
No.
He would just literally sat there staring at, listening to crickets.
The best game he had was Snake. Remember that one on the Nokia phone?
Yeah, or they could put Tetris on at some point.
That shit lasts 10 minutes.
In about 2004. And in 2001, I don't even think, and this guy, I don't think he had any phone. No less one capable of playing any game. No. He would have a phone that was the like a brick phone from the 80s still. He'd be like, I got this.
He kicked a can around their front yard.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Old
so he had to sit there.
Beans can.
So at some point, he goes into Carl's truck, the father-in-law's truck here, and takes out a rifle that he has in there.
Oh, shit.
He removes the bullets from the rifle because, quote, he didn't want to get shot.
Yeah.
Is what he says. So
he didn't want to get shot?
He didn't want to get shot by Carl, so he removes Carl's bullets from his rifle.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Around 7 a.m., he hears Carl coming out of the house.
Uh-oh.
He runs and hides behind Carl's truck. Okay, a nearby neighbor's dog starts barking at him. So Carl starts looking around for the cause of the barking and what's going on out here in the yard. He ends up going back inside. Carl does. So Bronner gets scared and runs away, thinking Carl might be going in to get a gun.
Right.
To check out the yard. He doesn't want to get shot once again. So he drives back home. So he left the house at 3 a.m., drove an hour, sat on the steps for 3 hours, got back in the U-Haul truck, drove an hour home.
He just put in 5 hours of work for nothing.
Absolutely nothing. If he had that kind of, aptitude and go-getter sense to him.
Go get a job in those 5 hours.
He would
sleep for a few hours and then go find a job.
Wake up at a normal hour and go find a job. Don't wake up at 3 in the morning. I assume he's still awake.
Probably.
He's not waking up at 3 a.m. Now, April 25th, that was April 24th. April 25th, the next day, he gets again in his U-Haul truck in his apartment in South Haven, drives to the Crafts again. This is around noon this time. So he's like, maybe I'll check him in the middle of the day. Stops sometime in the morning to buy rubber gloves, which is not a good sign. No. He knocks on the door. No one's home.
Yeah.
He goes back to his truck. He puts on a pair of rubber gloves. He heads to the back of the house, and he says he, quote, took the slats out of the back door. So it's probably one of those. Down south, they have those slatted. You see them in Florida all the time, and they go open and shut.
Yep.
So he removes a couple of those, breaks in the house, finds a .22 rifle, and steals that, takes it, leaves, closes the back door, puts the slats in so it looks good and everything, takes the rifle, puts it in his U-Haul truck.
Oh, shit.
He ends up going to Carl's work.
What?
He shows up at Carl's job, asks him if it's okay to go to the house to wait for Barbara and Paige to come home so he could see his daughter.
He's still got the rubber gloves on.
At this point, why you got rubber gloves on, huh? What? Oh, nothing. I was painting something. I mean, Jesus Christ. Now, first of all, restraining order.
Yeah.
Carl agrees. He says to go ahead. Now, there's a restraining order that your daughter put on this man because she's afraid of him, and now you're going to say, go wait at my home for that.
Carl, you're no protector.
All I can think is that he put on a sob story, and he went to him and he said he played the father card to him. And he said, look, I just miss my little girl so much. I just really want to see her. And he says he has something for her, too, which is a thing where it's like, he might have played on his heartstrings. I'm not sure here. Bronner agrees. Bronner says, okay, fine. And he goes back to the house, and he sits in the driveway, and he waits. He's there about an hour, and he's about to leave because they don't come home.
Yeah.
He's about to leave. He starts writing a note, because back then you couldn't just text someone and be like, I was at your house, dickhead, where were you?
Right.
You had to write a note and put it on the door, open the screen door and close it in it.
And hope so that it sticks.
Hope it doesn't blow away.
Right.
That's what you had to do back then. So he does that, just about to leave, and the car pulls in the driveway.
Oh, no.
Yes, they wish they would have stayed longer.
You
wherever
almost
they were.
made it.
As he started,
Although, even if they hadn't shown up, shit's going to go down.
Shit's going to go down eventually.
He's already got 5 hours invested in this, and now at least another 3.
Yeah, but he's got rubber gloves now.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future he wouldn't have rubber gloves. Now he's got gloves and everything. So they pull into the driveway, and it's the mother Jane, and Barbara and Paige, the ex-wife and the daughter, and her mother Jane.
Yeah.
Jane immediately asks Bronner if he was there the day before.
Yeah.
She's like, were you the one here the day before them in the morning? And he says, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course
not. Lies to her,
I'm not
obviously.
Tell you.
Yeah. I was stalking your house for 3 hours.
I'm a fucking weirdo. I drove for an hour each direction and sat here for 3. Yes, I was here. What?
Yeah. Meanwhile, they were probably looking out the window going, why is there a U-Haul truck 2 houses down? You know what I mean? Then he pulls in with a U-Haul truck. It's the same one. It's got a big picture of Alaska on the side. I know that U-Haul truck. I saw it yesterday. So Barbara tells him that he's got to go. He's not supposed to be there. She has a restraining order against him, and she's going to call the cops if he doesn't leave, which
she's
seems
a thinking,
reasonable.
clear mother.
Reasonable, protecting your child, right? Jan says that he has a book for his daughter Paige, and he just wants to give her the book. And he goes back to his truck and he gets a book.
It's cheaper to mail it, bro.
Yeah, it's an hour away. So they're like, well, whatever. He's here. The daughter's like, Daddy, he's got a book. So what are you going to do? Say no, you can't see your father. And so whatever. They all go into the house. They invite him into the house to give her the book, and I don't know what else. Jane again asks him if he was there the previous day. At this point, Bronner gets irritated. He gets mad at Jane because she asked twice a question that he lied about. Right. So obviously you're going to get angry at someone for that.
In the South, you don't ask twice.
No, apparently not. He goes to the truck and gets his rifle that he stole earlier, the 22 that he broke into the house and stole. He comes back into the house with the rifle. So now he's got the rifle locked and loaded. Yeah. Barbara asks him, what's that? Which is a dumb question. Right. But, I mean, I think she's like, why? Probably more like, why that, I would assume. He says it's your dad's gun. So she's, I think, confused would be the best way to put this. And he tells Barbara at this point, Bronner tells Barbara that he's not going to let her take Paige away from him, which is bad because he's got a gun and he's saying this. Yeah. I don't know what you do to try to reason with a person like this, but I can imagine this is as scary of a situation. And who knows what he's on. I mean, honestly, who knows what he's on? Yeah. He's got substance problems. Who knows if he's been, huffing gas out in the U-Haul. You have no idea what he's doing. That
U-Haul holds a lot of gas.
It holds a lot. He's got a whole tank. He's got everything out there. Everything. It's who knows here. He later says that he saw Barbara coming at him, so he shot her. Okay? He shoots Barbara. Jane makes a run for the bedroom. Yeah. He shoots Jane, too, the mother. Shoots her. He went over to Jane. He said, quote, to put her out of her misery, and shoots the mother-in-law again. Oh, shoots Jane again, Jane Kraft. So at this point, Barbara has fallen onto the couch in the living room. He comes over and shoots her again. Jesus. And she was conscious and had it together because she has defensive wounds on her hands. So she was trying to block this. And he is as heartless as a person could be and as remorseless as a person can be, fires at her again. So at this point, you're wondering, where's the kid? Yeah. Right? The kid is right there.
She saw the whole thing.
Little 3-year-old girl is right there, or 4-year-old girl at this point. She holds her arm up, which is covered in blood spatter from her mother and her grandmother, insane, and says, Daddy, you hurt me. Right? I don't know how she got hurt. I don't know if she just saw the blood and thought that it was hers or whatever. She's a child. I mean, she's a small child.
She doesn't know.
She doesn't even know what's going on.
Right.
He picks her up. Bronner takes Paige to her bedroom and gives her a cookie and tells her to watch TV.
Dickhead.
That's his response to this.
That's a hell of a way to heal this.
Yeah, that's terrific.
She's already fucked, sir.
Yeah, this complete piece of shit. So then he goes back into the living room, paces around, because, I mean, what do you do at this point?
You got 2 dead bodies.
I can't even put myself in this scenario of you just killed a couple people, and now you're like, oh, shit, what do I do?
And you just ruined your daughter's life.
So he thinks about it for a little bit and decides that Paige can identify him as the killer and said, quote, I was, quote, just bent on killing.
Oh, my God.
At that point, goes into the bedroom.
Yourself, sir.
Yourself. Thank you.
Damn it.
Turn the gun around on yourself. That's the thing I'm thinking this whole time when I'm doing this.
You're bent on killing. Just end it all.
End it all. But he can't because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
he doesn't
even have the asshole.
He doesn't have the balls to even shoot himself. Right. Instead, he goes in and he shoots his 4-year-old daughter, Paige, twice in the head.
Oh,
twice.
God.
Once in the chin, once in the head. So she dies right there, obviously. He goes back into the living room now and sits and waits.
He is
sits and
so
waits.
horrible.
First of all, how would you not kill yourself after you've done that? Especially if you sit around and stew in it for a couple hours. How do you not just go, I'm a horrible, I need to not be on earth anymore?
How does that guilt not just overtake everything inside you?
Nope.
You're a father. I'm a father.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
No.
I spank my kids and I sit in the living room and sob.
He has no guilt because what he's doing when he's sitting there, he's not thinking, contemplating, what am I going to do with my life? Should I end it all? He's waiting for Carl to get home.
Of course he is.
Waiting for Carl to get home. He walks in the
Carl
door.
he just told him it's okay to go there. Carl knows he was there.
Carl walks in the door. He kills Carl, too.
God.
Shoots Carl. Now he's there. Now he starts doing what he really came for, okay, which is stealing from them. He takes $300 in cash from Carl's wallet.
Hope it was worth it.
Takes the food stamps out of Barbara's purse.
Wow.
Which, I mean, this is you killed for
That's
food
as scummy
stamps.
as it gets.
And then takes the wedding ring off of Jane's finger.
Wow.
Yeah. At this point, he's trying to figure out what to do. He grabs Windex from the kitchen, starts running around trying to get rid of his fingerprints all around the house.
Windex does that?
That's apparently...
In the South, Windex fixes everything.
I got Windex. He probably didn't have any paper towels. He's just wiping it on with his arm,
He
with
thinks
his
there's
shirt.
bleach in it.
It's terrible.
He was huffing it while he was doing
Probably.
it, too.
Is this going to do anything? She's spraying it in his face. Oh, Christ. I wish he would have sprayed Windex in his face. Maybe that would have killed him. Who knows? So he drives back to his apartment in South Haven. Yeah. And that night he arrives. He proposes to his girlfriend, June, using his dead mother-in-law's wedding ring.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
That is the shittiest, most awful. That's a serial killer move. That's what serial killers do. They kill people. They take souvenirs and trinkets, and they bring them back to their wife or girlfriend and give them to them as a way to, like, have power. Like, I know that. It's insane.
He can look at her hand every day and know what he did and relive it.
He tells her that he got the ring at a pawn shop. She's like, how did you afford this nice ring? He said, got it at a pawn shop. She says that he did not act strangely that night at all. He was just said he was tired. That was
killed your daughter.
Not acting strangely at all. He can cover that up because he's got $300 in his pocket, and that makes him happy.
He's a ninth grade dropout. He has the moral complexity and the shallow soul.
Oh, and he comes from someone who's saying that's showing him that it's all right to abuse and rape your daughter.
Rape your daughter.
And beat your kids to cover it up.
So gross.
His moral compass is not great.
No.
It's really not.
It's spinning.
It's just, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It's like a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, so the next So the next morning, David Kraft, who is Barbara's brother and Carl and Jane's son, arrives at the home and finds the bodies. Obviously, he calls the police. Police say, do you know anyone who would have done this? He said, yes.
I do.
Jan Michael Browner, as a matter of fact. Here's his address.
Yeah.
Go get him, because this is probably him, I would
You might find
assume.
him at a Circle K or a
possible.
7-Eleven huffing gas.
It's a Piggly Wiggly, Jimmy. It's the South. Got it. You missed a Piggly Wiggly reference. Come on, Jimmy.
A Piggly Wiggly. That's hysterical.
So police arrive at Jan's apartment, and they arrest him, obviously.
Yeah.
Because he's an idiot. Yeah. And, I'm sure his fingerprint...
He's as good enough a suspect as it gets.
Something tells me the Windex didn't quite clear away all the physical evidence, I'm going to say, too. He's just sitting there Windex and shit. How long was he there?
Somebody hasn't seen Law and Order.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
It doesn't broadcast there.
Dumb.
That's why.
Yeah, the antenna doesn't pick that up. My antenna doesn't get USA.
Or TNT.
No, so the police search the U-Haul that he had. How fucking long does he have this U-Haul for? Still has the U-Haul. Still didn't return it. It's the next day. So for at least 3 days we know of he's had this U-Haul for. And they find the 22 rifle that he used to murder them that belongs to Carl.
He's so stupid to do what he did in the first place, and he doesn't even get rid of the gun.
And he is literally driving home from this through an hour of rural wilderness. At any point, he could have pulled over and threw that thing into the woods 100 feet, and no one would have ever
forever.
Covered in moss and shit, eaten by moccasins, water moccasins, in 3 seconds. Done.
I was going to say, eaten by moccasins. Those are shoes, James.
Yes, water moccasins. I'm going for whatever the hell they have down there. They have poisonous snakes down there. Everything's a swamp.
Guns.
Just throw it; it'll sink. Who cares? So he admits to the shootings when they arrest him.
Really?
He admits to the shootings. He doesn't have the moral, he doesn't have the brain power to even make up an excuse. Right. That's the thing. He's an idiot.
They're like, we got 4 dead bodies and we think you did it. And he's like, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's totally did. He gets him in. He gives kind of a half-assed statement there. He says he shot them, whatever. They take him in. A couple months later in July, he meets...
I just see him like congratulate because he's so dumb. Like he's just congratulating the police on excellent police work. They're like,
"That's a good job.
You were our first guess, actually." Yeah, well, that's a great guess, y'all.
Yeah, you guys did some good. That's some police work right there. We just asked
we
a guy.
asked one guy, and
anything?
He was like, "Yeah, totally you."
And then we went, and you had the murder weapon in your U-Haul. So.
And then you said, "Yes, I shot them."
Not to mention, if you're going to go murder people, pick a less conspicuous vehicle than a giant box truck with a huge portrait of a state on the side of it. Like that's pretty identifiable as much as they come. Now, in July 2001, he meets with Kenneth Fox, his old parole officer that we talked about, a probation officer, and he tells Fox that he's probably going to get the death penalty, and he's worried about the lethal injection drugs making him unable to donate organs. This is his concern.
Right.
For some reason. I don't know.
Jan is worrying about this?
Bronner is very concerned. He really wants to donate his organs. He writes a letter. Now, this is also writing a letter putting his guilt in writing again because the parole officer said, well, write a letter.
Write anything
and so
you
he
want.
said, sure. So the parole officer, Kenneth Fox here, ended up giving this over to the police, obviously.
He reluctant. He was just like, I'm sorry, read this.
Just read it. I know you have plenty of evidence, but you might want more. I don't know. So he writes a letter asking for death and that he requests that he be killed while donating his heart. Is he 6 years old? Does he know how things work in the world? Like they're going to go, just take him in and rip his heart out of his live body. I don't think doctors are allowed to do that, okay? So he missed that, too.
Can you?
So that's two shows he's never seen is ER and Law and Order. He missed that.
He is a dummy.
He missed everything NBC had to offer in the 90s. He just didn't care at all.
He doesn't even know who George Clooney is.
Never saw him in his life. Like, I don't know, man. I have no clue. You mean?
Holy shit.
So September 18th, 2001, Bronner meets with a law clerk and rejects. The law clerk says you should plead guilty and they'll give you life in prison instead of the death penalty. And he rejects that, saying that he wants the death penalty because he can't sit in there his whole life, he said. He said he won't do it. He writes a letter stating, quote, I did say I do not want to plead guilty in exchange for a life sentence. I will take what the jury says and nothing less.
Wow.
So he says, I'm going to go to trial, admitting the whole thing, and get whatever the jury gives me.
Yeah.
He continually says, I want to die. Please kill me. I deserve it. Continually. In writing, in court, continually. Okay. That's going to come back, so we'll hit that note. On November 15th, 2001, he finally makes a full taped statement to the chief deputy of the Tate County Sheriff Department, Brad Lance, which sounds like he's a gay porn actor by night. Brad Lance. Largest cock in the South. Brad Lance, Tate County's largest steel man. Brad Lance.
Brad Lance.
So he admits to all the murders.
So shaven. He has no chest hair.
Nothing. All of his shirts, they rip off like a stripper. Everything is tear away.
There's buttons down the sides.
And they're gone. Everything. And he can be in his Speedo in half a second flat, whenever it calls for it. You never know.
Oh, that's hysterical.
So anyway, he admits all of the murders to this gay porn actor. Even the prisoners were outraged at this. Yeah. This is a Mississippi prison where people do a lot of shitty things, but he killed his 3-year-old daughter. Ugh. That is especially in the hierarchy of crime.
That makes me quiver. It really does.
As bad as you get, especially your daughter.
Right.
You didn't break in and rob a family and kill everybody. You killed your own fucking
little girl.
Oh. The fact that he wouldn't sacrifice himself for her tells you a lot about him right there.
Everything you need to know, as a matter of fact.
Most fathers, if someone had a gun and said, I'm going to shoot you or your daughter, he'd say, shoot me. Yeah. He said, no, I'm going to shoot my daughter. Insane.
He told the guy, give me that gun and I'll shoot her for you.
I'll take care of that. That's fine. No. You've had a long day. You've had a long day.
You look so tired.
You look beat. I'm going to take care of that piece of shit. So the deputy of the sheriff department here, Brad Lance, again, received letters from prison, multiple letters from prison saying that they can't wait to kill Browner when he gets there and detailing horrible things they're going to do to him. The prisoners are literally telling the cops, bring that motherfucker here and we'll take care of him.
We can't wait.
That's what a piece of shit this guy is.
We want to meet him so bad.
He writes a letter to his lawyer. This Walker guy is his lawyer. Walker's his last name. And he says, quote, I am guilty of a crime and I need to be put to death, ! Jesus. So, I mean, he is clear. He's not, he's unequivocal about this. Then he tries to claim insanity at the trial out of nowhere. That's his first thing.
He had a second thought.
I don't know if that was his attorney saying, trust me, we just have to. Or maybe I think you're crazy. Right. You might not think you are. They have a psychiatrist that the defense counsel picked out that said, oh, he's fine. He's sane. He's competent. He's fine. He's an idiot, but he's sane and competent.
Dumb as fuck. But
it's all clear. As all hell. Yeah, he knows what he did. He says he knows what he did, and he does. Now, Browner's lawyer here, Walker again, asks Jan if he wants him to put on, this is during the trial, he says, do you want me to put on a mitigation case? This would be to go out there and tell them all the shitty things that have happened to you in your life and try to beg for leniency and get life instead of death.
And Lance, is it Lance that's doing this?
No, this is his lawyer.
Okay.
Lance was a policeman. He's a deputy. He wants to put him to death.
His lawyer absolutely said identical words to what you just said, because when he said, would you like me to put on a mitigation case? He probably went, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, he said, let me explain to you what mitigation is.
Listen, I don't want to use too many big words.
Also asks him if he wants to try, do you want me to try to get you life or life with parole or life without parole or whatever? Or do we do this? Asks him if he wants him to, the lawyer asks Bronner if he wants him to call his mother, his sister, a psychiatrist that will all present background and testify to his horrible upbringing and also what they feel is his good character, which I don't think you can even put in the sentence at that point. Anyway, during the trial here, they have a meeting with the prosecutor, the defense, Bronner, and the judge. I think it's a closed-door chambers type meeting. They asked Bronner if he wants to put on a mitigating case again. Do you want to call your mother? Do you want to get all these people on there? And he says he didn't understand. He said, well, why would I call my mother? She doesn't know anything about the case. But it's in these documents. It is explained to him a million times why you would call your mother, not for guilt or innocence, but to mitigate your guilt. Right. He was like, I thought you'd do that later. Like he didn't have any. He was just but he knew. Right. He was just. I don't know if he was blowing it off. Right. Like I have no idea. He's a slacker.
Trying to claim insanity still, that he doesn't know what he's doing.
He instead says, quote, as far as life, I don't feel that I deserve a life to live. So that's pretty clear at that point.
He's got two people in agreement right here.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, buddy. Yeah, I'm volunteer.
That might be the smartest thing he said.
I'll pour the kerosene in. Okay, I got it. No problem with this. And I'm not a big death penalty guy because they fuck it up a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't want anybody innocent getting executed. Right. So I'm not one of these people that's like, he did something to execute him. Who cares? No. I'm not that at all. Most of the time, I'm all, I want a free Adnan Syed and all that shit. Yeah. I'm all with that stuff. Right. But when you have someone who is saying, no, I shot them all. Did it. Here's all the physical evidence. Nobody else could have possibly done it, and I'm telling you I did it, and you shot your kid, I'll fucking kill this guy. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I mean, whatever. Give me the 22. I don't care at this point. Beautiful. Fuck this guy. Yeah. I mean, he's an asshole. You kill a kid, that's it. I don't even your wife or adults and all that, that's all horrible, and you should go to prison forever, but that's at least an adult disagreement that went a certain way because you're crazy. Right. This is a child that has nothing to do with anything.
Unforgivable.
So he says that. They ask him if he understands what he's doing. He says, yes, I understand what I'm doing. The jury returns death penalty on all four counts.
Right.
Yay, that's for this guy. Absolutely. He's convicted of April 11th, 2002, all 4 counts of capital murder and sentenced to death on all 4 counts.
Does Lance at least get to fuck him to death?
That would be the perfect thing. Brad Lance just bursts into his cell and rips away his clothes.
I'm here to lance you.
I'm here to lance you. You're going to be lanced. This is going all over the internet, too, buddy.
This is going to hurt.
This is buckle up.
I'm going to stab you in the heart through your rectum.
Now, so he has to appeal, obviously, because of the death penalty case. Right. There's appeals that need to be exhausted. Bronner argues that there were less gruesome and, quote, less inflammatory photos that could have been shown to the jury. Said the ones you showed him were terrible. There was ones where they didn't look nearly as much like they had holes in their fucking head that I caused. Who
cares
irrelevant.
what picture it is?
Irrelevant. It's a picture of a dead child.
Right.
Period. I don't give a shit.
You showed both holes. I only wanted him to see one.
Also, this is ballsy here and a move that makes me want to punch him in the fucking throat here. Also argued that the underlying charge of child abuse, because the death penalty is murder and commission of another felony. Yeah. They're saying that the other felony, the other 3 were robbery. Yeah. And with this one, they're saying the other felony is child abuse. Yeah. So they're saying it's child abuse, and then he killed her. His argument is that either gunshot would have killed her. So it wasn't like he abused her and then killed her.
How about yes, you did because you shot her mother in front of her. That's as abuse as it gets.
Thank you. Exactly. There was plenty there.
You ruined that kid already.
Yes. So they also argued that the murder of the daughter, Paige, should be severed from the other cases because of that. The state argues that all the murders occurred at the same location as part of the same act. It would be impossible to sever the killings, especially because the killings were part of a scheme to rob Carl and eliminate the witnesses.
Take some food stamps.
What
a piece of shit.
Food stamps.
Jesus.
Food stamps he's
taken.
And
then engage.
Unbelievable.
A wedding ring that he fucking
That can't be traced back. That's not something that's in pictures for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Think for 2 seconds.
It's Sarah, Mississippi.
God damn it, in your gas-addled brain.
Carl has an insurance policy on that fucking ring. I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
If it cost him more than $20, he's insuring it.
You know it, man. So Bronner files a petition for post-conviction relief on May 18, 2005, and that's kind of a later thing. It's based on ineffective assistance of counsel, is what he says, for failing to request a change of venue, failing to provide him a full transcript, which the court said, what the hell were you going to do with it? You sat there the whole time. You didn't need a transcript, jackass. And for failing to present mitigating evidence. That's his main argument. Meanwhile, they asked him 400 times, do you want to present mitigating evidence? He said, Do you understand what you're doing? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
No, I don't. So that's what happened there. And they bring that up in the court documents over and over. Like, no, you had plenty.
Yeah.
Bronner claims his lawyer needed to present the abuse that he suffered as a child, his substance abuse background, possible brain damage from the car accidents, and he said he refused to present the defense because it was not anything that would work. Your gas huffing when you're 14 doesn't matter. So he is on death row. He's sitting, well, not now, but he was sitting on death row and awaiting execution. For lethal injection in Mississippi. And his final meal is I got his final meal here.
You know what he deserves? I'm going to tell you right now. One fucking cookie.
One cookie.
The same fucking meal that he gave his daughter. Yeah. That's what he deserves.
Well, this is what he had, and it's basically, this is a white trash execution kit.
Macaroni and cheese.
If you were going to put together a white trash execution kit, it would be like a hose to hook up to the pipe of your car and this meal as your last meal.
I can't wait to hear it.
It is one DiGiorno Italian-style favorites chicken Parmesan pizza.
What?
One DiGiorno Italian-style favorites meat trio pizza.
What?
You get shit. DiGiorno sucks, too. You get shitty frozen pizza.
He ordered DiGiorno?
A small salad with lettuce, pickles, black olives, tomatoes, shredded cheddar cheese, the sign of white trash, and ranch dressing. Small bottle of Tabasco sauce, half a gallon of brewed sweet tea, 1 pint of Breyer's Blast Reese's Peanut Butter Cup ice cream. And he ate everything but some of the salad. Of course, he left the green thing behind. That is a white trash
and none
execution
of it gets
kit.
time to digest. I hope somebody in another cell screamed, "Is that delivered?" He's like, "No, man, it's DiGiorno."
And then a guy in a suit popped up and said, "This final meal is part of your white trash execution, your complete white trash execution dinner." Unbelievable.
2 DiGiornos. What a fucking idiot.
He refuses a shower. Yeah. This is 3 hours before. He refuses a shower.
What's the point?
Asked for a sedative. Got a diazepam for 5 milligrams of that. They give him a sedative, I guess, so he won't freak out, and you have to pin him down to the thing anyway. He makes 4 phone calls.
He's going to need that diazepam as that shit's digesting through him and running through his veins. He's going to shit his pants.
That's the thing. He's like, well... Fuck it. I'm not going to be here when this settles later, this DiGiorno. Yeah, it would mess me up, but I'm not going to be here anyway.
Explodes.
He makes 4 phone calls to attorney Lou Lynn Williams. Has no family visit him whatsoever, so that says a lot there. Yeah. 2 attorneys came for 25 minutes to visit him, and 2 spiritual advisors, a priest or a pastor or whatever, came for 45 minutes.
To pray over his DiGiorno.
Yeah. On his visitation list, he had 1 friend. A guy named Brian Payton who never visited.
Nice.
So he had 1 friend that he put on his visit. It was like lawyers and the chaplain, the spiritual advisors, and this one guy, and he never came.
Brian.
That's pretty sad. Now, so they take him in to be injected, and in case you're looking to make your own, well, we already gave you the white trash execution meal, the white trash execution lethal injection kit here. It's the cocktail is a pentobarbital, 2 GM. I don't know what the grams are. I don't know what that is exactly. That's the anesthetic. You got normal saline, 10 to 15 cc's. I've always wondered what was in the lethal injection mix. Pavulon, which is 50 milligrams per 50 cc's,
Jeez.
and potassium chloride, which I think is
that's the one.
That's the one there.
That's the one.
That is 50 milliquiv per 50 cc's. I don't know what that is, but if you're a home chemist and you're looking to make an execution kit, get your DiGiorno, your ranch dressing, your cheddar cheese, and potassium chloride. So, on June 12th, 2012, he's put to death by lethal injection in the Mississippi Penitentiary in Parchman, pronounced dead at 6:18 p.m. at 34 years old. His last words were, and it's funny, too, because he wrote a bunch of letters, and I had all the shit, and I'm like, I'm not fucking fuck this guy.
No.
This is about the kid he killed and the family. Fuck him.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm going to say is his last words, because it was toward the family, so that's fine. Its last words are, quote, I can't bring anything back. I can't change what I've done. Maybe this will bring you a little peace. And that was it. And the only person there from the Crafts was David Kraft. He's the brother who found the bodies and tipped the police off to him. And that's that.
He may as well have said, David, may this bring you peace, because nobody else was there to give a fuck about you.
He's dead and gone, and no one gives a shit.
Yay!
Fuck him. Yeah. So, I mean,
Rotten hell, fuckface.
It's so sad, too, because the daughter would have been 20 this year. She would have been 20 in March, and instead, not 20 in March. But at least he's dead, too, so fuck this guy.
There you go.
That's Jan Michael Bronner, and that is Sarah, Mississippi, and that is small-town murder as it gets right there, guys.
That was fun.
That is fun. It's horrible and sickening, but at the same time,
it's fun to bring
interesting
to bring to light a scumbag like that, so that everybody knows about him.
He deserves it. And honestly, guys, what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be doing this. We're going to tell you about a town and kind of how the crime ties into the town and all that kind of thing. And we. If you're offended by cursing or anything like that, we apologize, but that's what we do. Yeah. So if you're offended by that, please don't go and complain about it. Unsubscribe. Don't listen to us, because we're not going to change. This is what we are. This is what we present. And this is what we do. And we think this is what some of you might want. So please, also, too, you can subscribe if you're already listening. Subscribe on iTunes and all that. You can follow us on Twitter. It is, I think,
At Murder Small.
Murder Small, that's what it is on Twitter. We're just setting up these accounts today, so it's at Murder Small. Facebook, I'm not sure, because it was a problem with the word murder. It was a problem with the word murder. Is that okay now?
I think it's Small Town Murder.
Okay, all right, fine. Then we're good on that. Small Town Murder on Facebook. There'll be an Instagram for that. You can reach us. Also, too, please subscribe to our other podcast, Crime and Sports. It's really, really a good time.
So much fun.
It's a lot of fun, and maybe not quite as dark as this, but a lot of fun and true crime, and a really, really good time. So please do that on iTunes and everything like that. At
Small Town Pod on Facebook.
At Small Town Pod, that's right, because they wouldn't let us put murder on there for some reason. I don't know why.
Suck it, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. He's not even. He doesn't care.
He doesn't give a shit.
We have, but it doesn't matter. But please do all that. Follow us on there. Let's give you your social media, Jimmy. You want to hand it out?
Whisman Sucks. WHISMAN Sucks. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and that's Snapchat.
And I am at Jimmy P is funny, and James Pietragallo. You can find me. Please, guys, rate and review on iTunes. That's huge. What the biggest thing will help drive us up the charts. It'll help us out a ton. It'll help us get sponsors and help us get all sorts of better information and present you with the best show possible. So please, please do that. Rate and review on iTunes, and come back and see us next week. What do you think, guys?
I love it.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this first episode of Small Town Murder. It's been our pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.